All right, Theros Beyond Death is almost here, but first, pre-release. You know what that means. It's time for our top 10 limited cards for Theros Beyond Death. Today we'll be going over white, and these are my top 10 for limited, but since I have not drafted, we're just getting a general read on the cards, and I kind of want to focus on sealed because pre-release is coming right up. So let's start off with number 10, Helio's Punishment. 1 and a white for enchantment or enchant creature. Helio's Punishment enters the battlefield with 4 task counters on it. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. It loses all abilities and has tap, remove a task counter from Helio's Punishment. Then, if it has no task counters on it, destroyed Helio's Punishment. All right, so basically what we have here is an rest for 2 mana. So I like that, but it's a rest that will eventually go away. But I still think that's not too bad of a investment. I mean, if you're an aggro deck, you want get something fast and cheap right in the early game to get through. Late game, maybe the board is stalled a little bit. You need to get rid of their biggest thing so you can attack. I think the 4 is enough for most limited games, but it's not premium removal. It's just like, hey, this is pretty good. I'll run in any white deck. And the fact that, A, it's enchantment, it's a consolation. B, it's easy to get some enchantments back to the grave or from the graveyard, so that's nice. And yeah, I just love that 2 mana. That really helps it out. Number 9, Archon of Falling Stars. 4 white for a creature Archon. Has flying. It's a 4/4, and when it dies, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Right there, talking about getting things from the graveyard. This is a nice way to do it on a pretty beefy body, but also on a beefy mana cost. So 6 mana for 4/4 flyer isn't the best, but it's still pretty good. I mean, late game hitting 4 in the air, flyers win you games in sealed, and the fact that maybe this comes down and you have to trade it, that's fine. You trade it with another of their 4 toughness creatures, and you get enchantment back. Maybe it's a Helio's Punishment, and now they're down 2 creatures pretty much. So really like this card. I think you wouldn't really cut it from any white deck, but you don't really want like multiples of these. Maybe 2, but if you're like a really controlling deck, but really good card, especially the flying. Number 8, Dreadful Apathy. Talk about removal. 2 and a white for enchantment or enchant creature. Enchant creature can't attack or block. Then you can pay 2 and a white, exile enchanted creature. So pacifism for 1 more, but that's because for 3 mana, you can exile that creature, which, that's really good, actually. I mean, this comes down, their creature's pretty much turned off except for activated abilities. Then if they have a way to maybe remove this enchantment, you know what? Oh, I got 3 open mana. Guess what? Your creature is exiled anyway, so it doesn't matter. Turns off escape. Turns off filling the graveyard for escape. Really like it. Number 7, Shatter the Sky. 2 white for sorcery. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, and then destroy all creatures. All right, we got ourselves a 4 mana border wipe, which might have upside, might have downside. Really depends on the board. But yeah, I always like a board wipe. The only problem is board wipes don't go in every deck, but they go in most decks. I mean, you're going to first pick them a lot of times, but if you're like a super aggro deck, it's kind of hard to wipe your whole board. I like these kind of as backup plans in your hand. Maybe the game's not going the way you want it to. You're kind of getting beaten. Boom, Shatter in the Sky. Just gets you back in the game. If you're ahead, though, this is just a dead draw. I mean, you don't want to wipe the board, even if you are drawing a card. Yes, sometimes you let them draw a card if the creature with power 4 or greater, but, who cares? You're wiping the entire board. And you get to play around it, of course. You don't have to put all your creatures out. You can just keep some back, wipe the board, then you get to play creatures. Board wipes, always, pretty up there, but also sometimes you gotta side them out or just not run them in your deck if your deck, doesn't want it. Number 6, Elspeth Conquers Death. 3 white for Enchantment Saga. If you don't know, sagas are basically as this saga enters and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after 3. So when there's a battlefield, the first little chapter, I guess they call them, you exile target permanent an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So right there, any permanent, could be a land, except it can't be because they don't convert mana cost, but could be a planeswalker, could be another enchantment, any of their like high costing things, they're bombs most likely. You just get to exile it. Doesn't go to the graveyard, doesn't return if this thing goes away. It's just gone forever. Love that. So for 5 mana right there, I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, sure. Chapter 2, non-creature spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. that's kind of a dud, really. It's almost like a blank. It's a blank chapter right there. I mean, yeah, maybe they can't cast, a big draw spell or something. I don't know, but it's not that great. But then chapter 3, return target creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter or a loyalty counter on it. So right there, you get something back from your graveyard. Maybe one of your bombs comes back. It comes back even better. So I think for 5 mana, the investment's there. The first one, awesome. Love that. You get to remove something of theirs. Number 2, kind of a dud. So you kind of take a turn off of it. Maybe, a little bit of a tempo swing for them. They have to pay a little bit extra. Maybe they can't do 2 turns in one. Or they... Second one, maybe not the best, but it could be a tempo swing. Maybe like they can't play 2 spells on their turn. They only play 1. And then number 3, just getting something back. That's so good. Great investment for 5 mana, I think. Number 5, Nikka, a Crowan veteran. I think that's how you say it. 1 white for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. That's vigilance. And when it attacks, untap another target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature has base power and toughness 4/4 and gains indestructible. Wow, that's really good. 3 mana for a 3/3 is vigilance. Sure, I'll play that. But the fact that it just makes any of your creatures 4/4 indestructible. I mean, you just have 1/1 tokens laying around in white. That's easy to do. Now it's a 4/4 indestructible. You gotta be careful though, because of course this thing isn't indestructible. So sometimes maybe you just can't attack. But sometimes maybe you're just like, you know what, forget it. It's going to attack, gain that 4 damage. Maybe a way to bring her back. I don't know. But still just so good, especially in like an aggressive deck where you're doing the little heroic subtype they have going on. You're just kind of pumping things. Just really good card. Just very efficient creature. I like that. But it is also a little bit fragile because it is only a 3/3. So it's not me attacking into things all the time. Number 4, here's your premium removal, Banishing Light. 2 and a white for enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. So just 3 mana, get rid of almost anything. Just love that. Planeswalkers, big creatures, enchantments, doesn't matter. They're gone. Yes, there's a lot of artifact removal, so maybe this isn't as high as it could be. Maybe it could be like number 2 or something in other sets. Still really good though. Like, sure, there's going to be enchantment removal, but who cares? You still play as many of these as you can get. I mean, you get 3 of these. Yeah, I'll play them all. Who cares? Because maybe, they're not going to get that enchantment removal in time. Maybe they just never get it. And it's just a regular game of like any other set. So Banishing Light, still premium removal. Number 3, Helio de Sun Crowned. 2 and a white for a 5/5 legendary enchantment creature, God. It's indestructible. As long as your devotion to white is less than 5, Helio isn't a creature. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. Pay 1 and a white, another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Woo, okay. So, the gods are a tricky thing because they're devotion, but the fact that he is only 3 mana makes him so good. So he's 3 mana for, let's say, an enchantment that when you gain life, you put a 1/1 counter on a creature enchantment. Okay. And then pay 2, give anything other than him lifelink. Yeah, that's not bad, actually. I mean, that's not a very high pick, but white has a lot of, incidental life gain. So if you can just have a lot of other things with lifelink, maybe a bunch of, let's say you have like, 2 lifelinkers. That's 2 counters right there you're putting on something. And the fact that you can, make any creature have lifelink, you're going to be getting counters on stuff no matter what, as long as you have the 2 mana. And, if you get this, you're going to try and go heavy white so you can get that devotion go off. And then he's just a 5/5 indestructible. Whew. Yeah. Pretty good card. In draft, you always first pick him. I mean, you're never going to pass him. Just so good. Just the 3 mana. Woo. Love it. Number 2, Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis. 2 white for a legendary planeswalker, Elspeth. 5 loyalty. Her -1 is up to 2 target creatures you control each get +2/+1 until end of turn. Her -2 is create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. And her -3 is you gain 5 life. She has the escape for white, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. So basically you get to play her again for that cost. Now let's go over these minuses, because they're all minuses. She will eventually die. Her -1, yeah, that's fine. If you're doing like maybe that little sub-heroic deck, okay, there you go. You get a way to beef things up. It's also just good with flyers, of course. Her -2, make 2 creatures, the 1/1s. I mean, that's fine. She gets to at least protect herself that way. Then you can still activate the -3 for gain 5 life, which you probably don't want to do. -3, just gain 5 life. That's not great. You probably just want to keep doing the -1, -2 back and forth. But the fact she just keeps coming back, oh man, she's so efficient that way. Just like, she's not a bomb, I would say. Like, oh man, she comes down, you're going to win the game no matter what. But I think she just does so many things and can keep coming back that she's really good. Because it doesn't exile when it escapes, it just keeps coming back. And then our number 1, Archon of Sun's Grace. 2 white for a 3/4. Creature Archon has flying and lifelink. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. And has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. Holy crap. So this is White's bomb. And, you know, it's not the biggest bomb I've ever seen, but it's a really good card. Like, 4 mana for a 3/4 flyer. That's why you're like, hey, yeah, I'll play that. Give it lifelink. Okay, sure, why not? I mean, if this thing goes unchecked, you're just gaining 3 each turn and they're taking 3. That's a 6-point swing. Like, ouch. And then if you play any other enchantment, you just make another 2/2 with lifelink. Like, what? That's amazing. This card just is an army in a can of flyers nonetheless. So always first pick this. You get this in your sealed pool. I mean, try and play this if you can. Just really good. Yeah, wow. Love that card. So White, it's a little sticking point in Magic right now that White is weak, and it kind of shows in this set that it's not the best color. It had no big bombs. I mean, it had a Planeswalker, and that Planeswalker isn't a giant bomb. It's just a very efficient Planeswalker. Maybe for draft, the heroic mechanic will, you know, flesh out a little bit more because you can build around it, but I don't know, it's very slight, and there was like no rares for it. The only one is the Terra Nikka, who is not even a heroic card. She's just a really good aggro card. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes at draft. If you want to follow me on Twitter, booster_tutor, and stay tuned for my other colors coming up. This program brought to you by viewers like you.